Hey guys, today I'm with one of my fellow English tutor friends named Natalie Chama, and we're here just to talk about a few hard-hitting topics that a lot of tutors have to deal with. So one thing we're going to talk about first is pricing. So Natalie, what do you do if a parent is concerned about your prices? Like if they need your services, but they decide your prices are a bit too high. How do you handle that?
I usually show them, because I offer packages, so I'll show them the package and I'll tell them what's included in the package. And usually when I do talk about the package, they kind of say, oh, I see. Because that's when I'm showing them the value of what they're getting. So it's not like, they're thinking to themselves, they're just paying for the hour, but it's within the whole package that is for the month. Every month they are getting subscriptions, they are getting marking, feedback. And as sometimes I've come from a classroom teaching background, so anyone that's come from a classroom teaching background, sometimes you tend to not value those things, because when you're in a classroom teaching setting, you don't get paid for those things. It's within your job role. So you feel like, oh, I'm doing that out of the goodness of my heart. That's all well and good, but you should be getting paid for those things, especially when you're doing your own business, because it takes up a lot of time. It takes up a lot of time to mark, to look at a mark scheme, to give feedback, especially either by email or in person, wherever you want to do it. You just have to just show them the value of what they're getting. Okay, so regarding with the different exam boards, so you in America, you guys, instead of doing the GCSE, which we do in secondary school, high school you call it, you do the ACT?
We have ACT, SAT, and that's pretty much a lot of schools some schools stopped requiring it around COVID time, but it's still, right now, it's still necessary. I mean, students are still preparing for these tests, and it's regularly, it's still a big deal in the States. It looks good if you're applying to colleges and you have a score to reflect, especially if it's a high enough score.
Okay, so how would you adapt that for GCSE and for students that need to prepare for the GCSE exams in the UK?
Well, what I've noticed is while looking at the GCSE tests like math and English and all the parts, I realized that the content is so similar. It's just the way it's presented is slightly different. Like we were talking about the GCSEs, they have poetry on there. Like students have to, or it's best if they have seen and studied poems, and they're expected to, or at least they will be scored on responding to poems, comparing them to other poems. That's not how the SAT and ACT is. So fortunately, just getting to talk to you about the GCSEs and other people in London and parts of the UK, it's helping me understand really what's expected, like how students can make a 7 to 9. We've been looking over the test and realizing, okay, I can see how easily this can be taught. Students can easily self-teach, but they don't always want to. They don't really, it's hard to motivate yourself. So being able to, as long as tutors like you and I are familiar with those tests, we can help students become more interested in actually doing better instead of just getting by and doing the bare minimum. What do you think?
That's good.
Okay, it's true. And then
a bit of bloopers. Oh my gosh,
that makes it fun.